Vancouver has something to offer you whether you love a bustling metropolis or prefer nature and the outdoors. I'll take you through all of the city's best destinations both on and off the tourist map and suggest some of the must-sees so that you can best plan your visit. In today's video, I will be looking at where to stay in Vancouver and outlining the best areas to stay in Vancouver. I'll start with downtown. Vancouver's downtown area is the very center of the city. This area occupies a network of streets running from Falls Creek in the southwest up to Vancouver Harbour in the northeast. Downtown is by far the most central and convenient place to stay in the city, and if you're a first-time visitor, then you should probably look no further. The only drawback to this is that downtown isn't the cheapest place to stay in the city, and if you're a budget traveler, there are better options around. Downtown Vancouver is the home of the city's financial district, so it's convenient if you are visiting on business. Also, this area is packed with shops, and the streets around Granville Mall are a shopper's dream. Many of Vancouver's cultural attractions are located in the downtown area. The Vancouver Art Gallery and the Bill Reid Gallery of Northwest Coast Art have impressive collections, including the celebrated jewelry of Bill Reid himself. Culture lovers should check out the listings at the Vancouver Opera and the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra Cultured Entertainment at surprisingly reasonable prices. Vancouver's West End is a thriving central city area, with the distinction of being right next door to the fabulous Stanley Park. This park occupies over 1,000 acres of wilderness at the tip of the peninsula on which most of Vancouver is situated. It's an incredible urban park that gives Vancouver a lot of its open feel. After you visit Stanley Park, you'll wish that every city had somewhere like this. Stanley Park is covered with footpaths, cycle routes and trails. The seawall is the name for the perimeter path that circuits the park, offering fabulous waterfront views. Pretty much everyone who visits Vancouver comes to the park, and you should too because it's one of the city's highlights. If you're not a runner, jogger, rollerblader, or the like, then you can still visit and jump on the free bus service that visits all the significant points of interest in the park. Cole Harbour is a district that occupies the north shore of Vancouver's peninsula. It is situated to the north of the city's west end and next to the top part of Stanley Park. It's conveniently placed for transport since the city's waterfront area with its ferry terminals is just to the east. Cole Harbour is one of the best places in Vancouver to stay if you're looking for a top-class hotel. This part of town has several prestigious international chain hotels that occupy gleaming towers overlooking the fabulous waterfront, with views across Dead Man's Island and Stanley Park. Cole Harbour is the home of Vancouver's cruise ship terminal, so it's a convenient place to stay if you're exploring the city before or after a cruise. If you want to stay in a part of Vancouver full of old-world character and charm, then look no further than Gastown. This city district has some of Vancouver's oldest architecture, and you'll even find some cobbled streets here. But that doesn't mean that it is an old-fashioned place, quite the contrary. In recent times Gastown has been reinvigorated by a young and cool crowd, and you'll find an impressively vibrant community here. Gastown has enjoyable shopping, particularly if you like curios, antiques, and little art galleries. The chain stores are in other parts of the city, but here is where you'll find unique and interesting items, especially if you have a budget for it. Gastown is a central Vancouver suburb, located just east of the waterfront district. Most of the central city's sites are within a reasonable walking distance, or a short SkyTrain or bus ride. Vancouver's Chinatown is just to the south, with its wealth of dining options and vibrant culture. Vancouver's large Chinatown district is the center for one of the largest Chinese and Asian communities in North America. It's a bright, bold, in-your-face part of the city that is lots of fun and has something to see on every corner. As you'd expect, you'll find fabulous Chinese restaurants here, as well as foods from many other parts of the world. There are some pretty Chinese temples, and the Chinatown night market on Kiefer Street is a fascinating place to explore in the summer months. Chinatown has some excellent hostels, catering to backpackers and independent travelers, so if you're a budget traveler, it's one of the best places to stay in Vancouver. Vancouver's waterfront area is on the northern side of downtown. This is one of the most convenient parts of the city for transport, especially if you plan to get around by ferry since the central ferry terminal is here. The waterfront is a good place if you want to explore Vancouver's North Shore. Waterfront Station is the center of land-based transport in this part of Vancouver, and it is the nexus of two SkyTrain lines and the West Coast Express rail line. The station is an imposing red brick building that dates back to 1914. The waterfront is one of the city's most central districts, and downtown is just to the south. The prestigious hotels and living of Cole Harbour are to the west, and the exciting, sometimes seedy, neighborhoods of Gastown and Chinatown are to the east. Kitsilano is a large suburban district of Vancouver located to the southwest of downtown across Falls Creek's waters. It's an attractive suburb with a pretty beach at Vanier Park. There are some exciting things to see in this lovely waterfront park, including the Museum of Vancouver and the Vancouver Maritime Museum. Kitsilano doesn't have a huge range of accommodation, although there are some good B&B and a few hostels. One of the best ideas for staying in this area is renting a private apartment. Whatever you choose, you'll find that most places are in the budget or mid-range categories. Yale Town is one of the most modern districts of central Vancouver. This old waterfront community used to be full of dilapidated warehouses and open space. All that changed as urban reclamation projects rejuvenated this part of town with modern apartments, shopping and dining centers, and renovated warehouses. Yaletown is situated on the southern shore of Falls Creek and looks across the water to the tower blocks of downtown Vancouver. It's one of the most attractive views of the city. But despite being across the water, this district is well connected with the city center by the SkyTrain service. There are 4 SkyTrain stations here that can conveniently take you all around Vancouver. Also, Creek Ferries operate a local ferry service. If you like cities, but the cut and thrust of downtown isn't for you, then you should consider staying in the charming Commercial Drive neighborhood. The name is actually a bit of a misnomer since Commercial Drive is pretty much the opposite of commercial, being a primarily residential district of Vancouver. Commercial Drive is one of the cheapest areas of Vancouver to stay, so if you are traveling on a budget, it's a great choice. The low-key atmosphere and lower rent of this area have made it popular with local artists and is now one of the centers of Vancouver's arty party crowd. Mount Pleasant is an attractive and suburban district on the south side of Vancouver, heading out from the city into the suburbs. If your idea of a great place to stay is a neighborhood that used to be run down but is well on the way to redevelopment and is home to a hip and happening social scene, then you'll love Mount Pleasant. The area is full of local-friendly bars, restaurants and cafes. An advantage of staying in Mount Pleasant is the proximity to Vancouver International Airport, a short drive to the south. If you are arriving or leaving by air and want to ensure a trouble-free transfer, then this is an excellent place to stay. This small island, Granville Island, is a sandbar below Granville Street Bridge. It was formerly an industrial area with sawmills and factories, but since the 1970s, it has been transformed. The facilities on offer today include bars and restaurants, theaters and galleries, a community center and marina. On the island itself, there is just the expensive Granville Island Hotel, but there is affordable accommodation nearby. Whether you take it or not, you should surely visit during your time in Vancouver. South Vancouver is a largely residential district without any of Vancouver's main attractions, but that does not mean it does not make a good base. If you want to learn more about local life in Vancouver, this is a place to consider. It is quiet with plenty of bars and restaurants in its tree-lined streets. You will be mostly mixing with locals, if you use them. The city of Richmond is directly south and offers plenty to see and do, including some very interesting museums. If you stay in South Vancouver, you have easy access to the countryside with its walking trails, fauna, lakes, and beaches. This waterfront district, North Vancouver, offers many of the best accommodation choices in Vancouver and fits most budgets. Head further and you are in a rural environment that is surely worth exploring on a day of your time in Vancouver. The Grouse Mountain Skyride takes you to the summit of the mountain, from where you get spectacular views over the city. With restaurants, shopping, and a theater here, you can easily spend a whole day here. So by now, you will have answers to all of your questions about where to stay in Vancouver. You know which are the best areas of the city and you can choose the one that suits your needs best. I hope that you have a marvelous visit to this superb destination.